Hi everyone and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today I am here once again with the indefatigable JJ. He's here down from ASUS and we've been talking about the new ASUS line of motherboards based on the Z87 chipset, the Socket 1150 platform, which is designed for Intel's new 4th generation core processors. Now we've already talked about the mainstream, also known as the channel boards. We've talked about the TUF series of boards. Now we're moving on to the ROG boards. These are the Republic of Gamers boards, and ROG is kind of designed by ASUS to be the best of the best, really the highest end, whether you're going for extreme levels of gaming performance or in particular I would say maybe extreme overclocking and really pushing systems to their maximum potential performance. Would that be correct?
I think that's definitely part of it. You know, the ethos really when it comes down to ROG is I think about performance innovation for the pure do-it-yourself enthusiast.
Okay.
You know, there's definitely kind of cuts into being applicable to the gamer, the hardcore gamer, and definitely the overclocker. You know, ROG is right now used by more enthusiast level overclockers than any other motherboard brand, and we have actually more world records than any other brand. But at the same time, we feel really passionate that the designs and the feature set that we're incorporating here, we want them to be applicable and usable by the real world user. Whether that's, like I said, somebody that's tweaking and tuning their system just to get a great overclock out of it, or whether it's a gamer looking for a competitive edge and a great feature set to give them a better level of experience, more immersion. I think the other kind of a key important point is that ROG is kind of the forebearers for innovation. They tend to push the envelope in terms of a lot of specialized designs, which allows us to then take a lot of those designs over time and infuse them into other segmentation series boards. You know, if we take examples at the advanced fan control functionality or specialized functions in the UEFI, digital power management, Intel NIC, all that stuff started first on ROG series motherboards because we have the opportunity to push the envelope there, even when sometimes it's a higher cost of implementation. That being interesting, you know, we're continuing to expand the scope of what ROG has to offer and even offer actually more value to our users while still keeping kind of that ethos of what makes ROG when it comes down to, you know, performance innovation, you know, and that aggressive kind of competitiveness, whether it's, like I said, for gamers, whether it's for tweakers, whether it's for overclockers or general enthusiasts. You know, like you said, we're trying to bring the best of the best.
So, for instance, with new technology, as it is released, it often takes a long time to sort of trickle down into the mainstream to be available to your average computer builder. So ROG, apart from everything else, is also a platform where you guys like to sort of take the newest technology and integrate it and see how it can perform and how it can enhance the user's experience.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, even sometimes, you know, over time doesn't necessarily mean that every single time it's going to work. You know, as you'll see, we're going to introduce for this generation a really, really cool feature, an accessory that we've worked on for a very long period of time because we've had a lot of experience at designing sometimes special functions or features that we've seen from one year to the next. You know, we've responded to the community's interest in something, developed something, and see, hey, maybe they decided that actually when they end up utilizing it, they want to see it tweaked or modified or worked in a different way. So I think we try to be as most relevant and timely as we can. And, you know, that means that there's a faster changeover sometimes in the feature set and functionality. But, you know, it's not called the bleeding edge for a reason, right?
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, we're ultimately trying to really do the best that we can here at bringing not only innovative designs and feature set, but definitely cutting edge specifications.
All right, and that being said, we actually have a new entry into the ROG family when it comes to motherboards. That's the board that's located right here, and this is the Hero. This was designed to sort of fit a segment of the market that maybe had a harder time accessing ROG boards in the past.
Yeah, so historically, if you looked at where kind of the price banding and our SKU stack used to sit, when you had an ROG release, you usually always knew you were going to see an Extreme board, you were going to see a Formula board, and you were going to see a Gene board. So Gene was generally actually the entry or the gateway to the ROG product line, but sometimes people would only be looking at it from the perspective of being a high-performance micro-ATX motherboard as opposed to being, from a cost perspective, the entry level to ROG. So what we wanted to try to do with Hero was ensure that not only we had that great price delta that you saw between Gene and the Formula SKU, but we opened it up to just from the basic perspective, instead of people being limited at looking only at a micro ATX SKU, that we develop an ATX SKU, but that keeps the hallmark points of being an ROG board, but a much more aggressive price point, but without compromising on those things that I said make it an ROG board, whether it's the component quality, the attention to detail, whether it's going to be in the software, whether it's going to be in the specific hardware designs, or in the specialized features that speak to the gamer audience. Now, we know with Extreme, generally there's that target at being kind of the best of the best, most expansion, most tweakability, most tuning. With the Formula board and the Gene board, historically, those are targeted at gamers, and we're going to put in technologies that really highlight gaming, but also are beneficial to the enthusiast and to the overclocker. Hero kind of sits in that same space of being really targeted towards the gamer that's appreciating high quality, high performance, great feature set, but wants it at a more aggressive price point, but really is interested in what ROG is bringing to the table. So we're really excited about this brand new SKU.
All right, so that said, let's get into it, take a closer look. This is the Maximus 6 Hero, the brand new board from the ROG series from ASUS. Of course, it's got the Z87 chipset, the 1150 socket for Intel's 4th generation core processors. We have dual channel memory, of course, right here, DDR3 DIMMs. You have your array of PCI Express slots there, and I'm guessing this board is maybe most suited for single or dual card configurations?
That's correct. So it's very similar to the Formula and to the Gene that you're talking about, SLI or Crossfire, or you could be doing quad Crossfire, quad SLI, as long as it's a 2 GPU card configuration versus actually being 4 cards.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, in terms of some of the key hallmarks that we keep consistent from previous generations is, of course, in the audio subsection. As you're familiar with, you know, one of the hallmarks now of ROG audio design is the Redline audio implementation or a Supreme Effects audio. So we've maintained that for the Hero SKU, is that we're not costing down there. You're still going to get that ALC 1150 codec, which has, like I said, that nice improvement in terms of specification. But we have that fully isolated audio design, so this is independent of the rest of the motherboard. Of course, we keep that nice LED in the back to aesthetically let you know. And we've gone ahead and, of course, kept the Supreme Effects shielding to minimize any type of interference. And we've gone ahead and upgraded the audio capacitors to the Elna audio caps.
Okay.
So all around, you get a nice improvement in terms of just giving you better clarity, better sharpness, better accuracy, as well as even the actual gain. So the loudness of the volume is actually going to be higher.
Okay.
If you compared this to a non-Supreme Effects solution and you set both of them to, let's say, a volume output of 40, this is going to seem about twice as loud. So even for somebody that necessarily doesn't consider themselves like an audiophile, right, you're still going to regardless get an improved experience just from having, you know, more flexibility in terms of the range of the volume that you have available to you, plus the additional benefits of, like I said, you know, reduced interference, overall better transparency, and overall just a better sound field. Now, one really cool thing that we've introduced for Supreme Effects for this generation is a brand new sound feature that we have, which is going to give gamers a really interesting competitive edge. And actually, I'm going to show you a little bit of information here on the monitor to let you see what it looks like.
All right, let's take a look. So this is called Sonic Radar, and what's the deal with this, JJ? What's the deal?
So, like you said, we've spent a couple of generations now really refining what we've done with Supreme Effects to give you the best onboard integrated sound experience. So what we have with Sonic Radar is how do we evolve, giving you also now a competitive edge that's not just centered around improved clarity, you know, better tonality, and overall better soundstage, but actually now giving you in-game information.
Okay.
So what you can see right here is an actually on-screen heads-up display that's mapping your audio real time, showing you the directionality as well as the amplification, the sound in itself in terms of where it's in relation to you. So where you can see is this gives you a whole nother layer of kind of visibility at how you're playing your game, because it's not just you hearing it, right? It's visualizing what you're hearing, which might to degree sound kind of counterintuitive, but sometimes when you're hearing all the sound go on at one time, you might not necessarily know where it's coming from, right? So you could imagine taking a corner and being shot at, right? But now you're going to be able to see that I have 4 independent shots that are coming at me, so I can prepare myself as soon as I come around that corner. I know I have to prep myself for 4 guys, versus, you know, if I would have just jumped out before, maybe I would have just thought it was one guy and I would have got shot. So we think this is going to be a whole new layer to be able to add additional value to guys that are gaming, you know, whether it's going to be in single player campaign, or of course if you're using an ROG board, you're going to have a competitive edge online, you know, playing against your friends, you know, or against, you know, other teams.
So you have a 360-degree field of view right here, and wherever the sound is emanating from within the game, you'll get a little indicator from that direction. Now, I imagine the useful things that you might want to be able to hear, maybe gunshots, maybe footsteps, is that the type of thing? Can you amplify
Correct.
Either of those individually?
And we can actually even do more specialized features. So what you're going to see here is actually in the advanced features, we can work per game engine to be able to actually enhance and call out specific sound signatures.
Okay.
So as you see here in Counter-Strike, we're actually going to go ahead and focus in on gunshots, footsteps, and actually in-game bomb detection.
Okay.
But you could imagine other game engines, such as maybe like Team Fortress, where you have tons of different types of weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all create different sounds, and you might want to know when maybe a sniper shot has just gone off, right? Or if somebody's running around with a flamethrower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or any number of different variances. You know, the goal could even be possibility, if we get enough interest and feedback from the community, maybe that we can go ahead and open this up and allow the community to directly develop it from an SDK and an API perspective, so that as games come out, if they want to weave in their own detection algorithms, they can then share profiles with each other, right? Allowing you to kind of get all that in-game audio information. So we see this as a real big value point for our ROG series SKUs. And while we're first right now highlighting on the Hero, this technology that we have incorporated is going to work with any of the boards that feature our Supreme Effects audio implementation. So that's going to be the Hero, the upcoming Formula board, and the Gene board.
Very nice. So, and you're considering making this open source so you can get some community development behind it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're always interested in continuing to work with the community, as we are with all the things that we put out to the market. So, you know, we'll, you know, initially for the launch, it won't be, but, you know, we're going to monitor the feedback from the community. We think a lot of you guys are going to be really interested in seeing, you know, how this tool works, what you can do with it, how you can configure it. So we'd love to hear you guys' feedback as this comes to the market on, you know, how we can continue to make it most accessible and most beneficial for you guys.
Awesome. So if this seems like something that you guys are interested, post in the comment section below. Let us know, let ASUS know if you're interested. But from my understanding, JJ, that's not all, but wait, there's more?
Yeah, there's definitely more.
There's more
It being ROG,
we're still just on the Hero board, too.
We definitely don't want to compromise on the total quality. So, you know, when we speak on that, one of the hallmarks always for an ROG board is that the component quality is top-notch. Mm-hmm. You know, we already feel that we have outstanding component quality on our mainstream series, and on Tough series, you know, we even go to a higher degree. But ROG, we try to put the absolute best of the best. Now, you're going to see here on ROG that you've got these beautiful, what are called black wing chokes that we have on here. So these are brand new inductors that we actually have co-worked with our server team on. Mm-hmm. These are rated at 60 amps a piece. They use this specialized actual fin design, which actually helps to improve their thermal dissipation properties, and go ahead and provide you with better thermal performance as well as significantly higher power output. Now we're going to continue the trend of, just like on ROG boards in the past, we're going to keep the Nichicon GT capacitors. So those are caps. 10K rated caps versus you know, the 5K rated caps that we already use on our mainstream series versus the 2K rated caps that you're going to see on competitors' products. Okay. So in terms of the overall component quality, even though this is going to be a value-oriented SKU, it's no compromise. So you can feel really confident that even though this is really targeted at gamers and normal enthusiasts, if you want to overclock this board, it's going to have everything you need to be able to drive it with. And you, of course, maintain a high-performance sintered heat pipe to go ahead and help to really cool those high-performance direct FET MOSFETs. So altogether, those chokes, those inductors, those MOSFETs and drivers and capacitors, outstanding power delivery implementation. Now, if we take a look at some of the other cool feature sets, you know, it continues to, of course, be present there as what we would expect. So we have the updated Intel iSeries NIC, but we also still keep the game-first packet priority software. So that allows you to go ahead and in there and automatically adjust per different games optimizations that can go ahead and reduce your ping time and improve your latency performance as well, so that you can get the best gaming experience. Now, one of the really cool things also about the game-first packet priority software is that while it's specifically optimizing and focused on gamers, you can utilize it for any actually network-centric applications. So whether it's going to be things like Skype calls, whether it's going to be downloading, or whether it's going to be streaming services, or general web browsing, you can set quick one-button profiles to optimize for any one of those. And even if you decide that you want to maybe update to a wireless controller, maybe, you know, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, maybe you want to drop in like one of our PCIe AC cards and you want to go Wi-Fi, GameFirst is not limited to working only with the integrated NIC. It can actually be mapped to any network controller that you install. So if you add in a wireless card, you can still take advantage of our GameFirst packet priority software.
All right, so if you have an application and you need really dedicated internet access, you need an uninterrupted flow of bits, the GameFirst software.
Correct.
You do that.
In addition to that, of course, we maintain the robust and rich fan connectivity where you have the full 4-pin and 3-pin control both in the UEFI and within the operating system environment. You're also going to continue to expand actually on even the software that comes included with the board.
Okay.
So we touched on, of course, the Sound Radar software, but that's not all. We've gone ahead and now incorporated a full RAM disk application that will be included with the board. So we'll show actually a demo for you guys that want to check out the video on this, but it will be a fully unrestricted RAM disk volume. So you'll be able to go in, assign the amount of memory that you want to go ahead and configure, and you'll be able to instantly be able to create your volume. We go ahead and have incorporated features such as automatic saving, and automatic saving will actually even allow you to go ahead and have the ability that if when you shut down, it won't have to even write it to the disk because it's already written into the background, so it won't even actually extend your shutdown period.
Oh, very nice.
So that's some additional functionality. We also have mapped in a separate what's called junction function. This is really cool because you can map specific applications or files or maps to just that one portion. Maybe you don't want to install an entire program directly to the memory, and maybe you just want to go ahead and optimize maybe your maps or maybe some paging files or maybe some certain executables. You can just point that directly to the junction and it will cache them exclusively through the RAM as well to go ahead and get a higher level of performance.
Very nice.
So that will come included with all the ROG boards as well as the Hero that we're noting it on. Now, we also have some really robust UEFI options. Now, we're going to do an overclocking demo later on the actual MAXIMUS 6 Extreme, but one of the most unique UEFI options that we're going to have is going to be secure erase.
Okay.
So a lot of you guys know that when you're working with a high-performance SSD, you can get performance degradation over time, and the only way to generally try to recover that is try to allow the drive to maybe kick into trim and recover it. But if you want to ensure 100% of the performance, you have to run secure erase. Normally that has sometimes meant either trying to find the utility from the vendor, or you have to go into like a bootable disk. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You can actually have now secure erase built into the UEFI. So you can go ahead and attach your SSD, you know, make sure it's imaged and backup, go inside the UEFI, secure erase the drive, and then from there, you've recouped all the performance, re-image your volume back, and you're at 100%.
Excellent.
So it's a really awesome feature for guys, once again, with ROG being a performance-oriented product, and usually the guys that are going to be adopting this are going to be people that are wanting the best performance. You're buying the latest generation SSDs that are on the market. This is a great way of maximizing and ensuring you're going to get the best performance possible.
And I imagine there's at least one or two people who have an SSD and maybe have had it start to slow down who are like, wait, I can do that? Yes, you can. So I love that. Integrated into the UEFI, that's a fantastic.
Directly integrated. And of course, we're still going to keep a lot of the classic features which you've come to expect, such as, you know, the USB Charger Plus technology, USB 3 Boost is going to be implemented in there, the USB BIOS flashback, which is allow you to quickly update, no CPU, no memory, no graphics card. So all those things in there, when you add that in there, there's really a high degree of value that you're going to have that makes it really easy to work with. Plus, you know, you get some of those nice, you know, enthusiast level controls such as, you know, the onboard power button, the debug LED, and of course even like the direct key function, which will allow you to reboot directly into the UEFI as well. So a lot of really robust level functionality for what we're considering our new value-oriented board. So we're really excited about offering this SKU. Awesome.
So the Hero is definitely an excellent entry into the market, a fantastic debut for this board. Shall we move along to the Gene?
I think that sounds good.
I'll just put that down there. Bring the Gene right over here. The Gene is the micro ATX board, and this is one that's had a few iterations so far throughout the years that it has been since it's been introduced.
Correct.
So moving on to the Z87 chipset platform, what kind of updates do we have for the Gene?
So Gene, you know, maintains the trend of really being the absolute best micro ATX motherboard out there on the market in terms of performance, feature set, overclockability, component quality. You're still getting everything. So a lot of the touchstones that we touched on for the Hero board are going to be consistent. You're going to get the SupremeFX audio design. Now you don't have the actual SupremeFX tin cover, and that's just because we wanted to be able to show you a little bit more of the design, but retail samples will have that in place, so just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Now, one thing that you guys may be familiar with on previous generation Genes, you're going to have seen an M combo module.
Yes.
So We're going to show you actually a picture of what the new M-Combo module looks like, but the cool thing about it is that we've gone ahead and made an adjustment to it. So the previous generation supported M-SATA and a mini PCI Express slot. For this new generation, we've actually phased out M-SATA because it's being replaced by a new specification. The specification is, some people are calling it NGFF, or what the new term is actually called is M.2.
Okay.
So M.2 has the benefit of being linked in directly to PCI Express versus being linked into the SATA bus, namely also the SATA 3G bus. So it's going to be able to offer higher throughput, lower latency, and overall better performance. So we're really excited to be able to offer the latest generation of small integrated flash storage support with our new M-Combo 2 module. So you're going to have support for, of course, being able to integrate wireless solutions if you want, as well as, of course, those high-speed flash storage devices as they're going to come to the market a little bit after the launch of this chipset.
Excellent.
So that's going to be another cool plus point that's unique as compared to, let's say, the Hero board, which doesn't feature the M-Combo module. Outside of that, most of the rest of the feature set is going to be very close to what we've explained on the Hero in terms of overall total features. So the main differential is going to come into play in terms of the actual form factor. Now, in terms of the total hardware design, in terms of special aspects, in terms of maximum overclocking, the Gene is actually going to be even a little bit better than the Hero board. And there are going to be an extensive level of exclusive ROG options in the UEFI that we'll touch on a little bit later. But the Gene, along with the Hero, are both going to have that same wide depth level of UEFI that's going to give you specialized DRAM profiles, GPU DIMM posts, or what's called Tweaker's Paradise section, which gives you a whole range of options of being able to tweak and manipulate all aspects when it comes to overclocking or tuning your board. So a whole slew out there for guys that are interested in having a high performance, small form factor MATX-based solution.
Very nice. And I had used the previous version of the Maximus 5 Gene. I can vouch for it being a fantastic board, and it looks like you guys are continuing the trend with the Maximus 6. All right, so shall we move along to the main event?
The main event.
The main event.
The big guy.
The Maximus 6 Extreme. Now, JJ mentioned earlier, but there's also one more SKU in between the Gene and the Extreme. That would be the Maximus 6 Formula, and we can't talk about that yet.
Not yet. You guys, this video is going to be coming out right at the launch time frame, but we're willing enough to let you know. Make sure, keep it locked to the Newegg channel. You guys are going to find out some awesome information about even more ROG product on Z87, including the Formula, and who knows, maybe something else.
Maybe something special.
So just keep your eyes locked in the channel. You're going to find out some stuff, but I guarantee you guys are going to be utterly blown away by the Formula board.
All right, that's a good teaser. The
so
Extreme, though.
With the Extreme, the goal here is to pretty much lay it down and give you the absolute most tweakable, tunable, overclockable board on the market. Massive expansion because, of course, we step up where with the Hero and the Gene board, you're offering two-way configurations for SLI or Crossfire. With the Extreme, of course, we're stepping it up to four-way configurations, whether it's four-way SLI, four-way Crossfire. Of course, more SATA connectivity, more USB 3 connectivity. You're going to get the M-Combo module, but where the Gene doesn't come with anything installed into the M-Combo module, this unit will come with integrated 802.11 AC. So you're going to have dual band with Bluetooth integrated on the Extreme board. Okay. So that's going to be a great plus point. So overall, you're still going to get all the high-end componentry that we've talked about, even a higher performance VRM heatsink to go ahead and give you great thermal performance for the VRM when you're overclocking or pushing the board under load. And of course, you're going to maintain all the classic things that you would expect in terms of the advanced fan connectivity and those specialized controls in the UEFI, as well as with AI Suite. Now, something that we have, though, that's really special is a special kind of hardware accessory that we worked on. So in the past, we've shown some of our exclusive technologies like ROG Connect. Now, actually, all these motherboards still feature our ROG Connect technology, but one of the things that we've continually seen over the years as we've developed different hardware designs is people saying, the hardware designs sometimes don't always give us the level of practicality or ease of use that we would like. And if we go back to even, let's say, like our Rampage 2 series, we had onboard buttons that allow you to adjust actually the front side bus, voltages, and multipliers, way before actually competitors had it. And the reality is we polled our community, and the community, even the Extreme community, said, it's a nice feature, but most of us just don't use it. So we phased it out, and that's when we first rolled out ROG Connect, which actually sent a whole whirlwind of performance-related overclocking records, because it was the first time you were really able to do full real-time dynamic overclocking while you were actually running your benchmarks or while you were actually in your applications. Plus, we made it accessible to end users because you could get a benefit from externally monitoring your system for temperatures, reporting the debug codes for your system, being able to adjust fan speeds and voltages and clock speeds all real time was a great level of functionality. But you know, we wanted to try to fine tune it and make it even better. So we've come up with an entirely new, actually hardware-based accessory that will come included with the MAXIMUS 6 Extreme.
Okay.
And we're also excited to say that it's fully compatible with all ROG SKUs.
Nice.
So with that, let's actually show you what I'm talking about.
Okay. What are you talking about, JJ?
So we have this guy right here.
Aha.
This is going to be the OC panel.
All right.
So the OC panel has been a very big project for us, and we've been working on it for a very long period of time. So as you can see, it's actually this awesome handheld control unit. Now, if you'll notice, the Extreme actually is a little bit slimmer than what it used to be.
It is. It's now standard ATX.
Correct, and we still have a huge amount of connectivity. Actually, it's the first time we've had 10 SATA ports on the motherboard. But what you don't see on the board that we've had in the past has been our VGA hot wire technology as well as our Sub-Zero Sense. But they haven't disappeared. They've actually just been integrated directly onto this board.
I see.
Now, this is actually going to have two levels of operating modes. One is going to be an extreme mode, which is going to give you full real-time control, where you can go ahead and connect this to the motherboard via a special header, and no software is going to be required. On a hardware layer, you'll be able to adjust your voltages, clock speeds, multipliers, anything that pretty much relates to the performance-oriented aspects of the system.
Okay.
For guys that even want to take it further and really push their platform and tweak it, you can go ahead and remove this and go into the real extreme mode, and you're going to have a whole nother level of connectivity. There's actual 4 fan headers on here, so that if you want to add additional cooling while you're testing your system, maybe externally or even, you know, in a benchtop configuration, you could add the fan headers there. You just need to add the supplemental SATA power.
Okay.
We've got the VGA hot wire technology here, so you could utilize that with some of our DC2 or ROG series graphics cards that feature that technology, where you have direct voltage and frequency control over that. We even support actually standard reference cards from any vendor that utilize a digital controller, so that is a nice plus point. And then we still keep our advanced pause and slow mode functions.
Okay.
So those are going to be for guys that need an additional layer of flexibility when they're overclocking their systems to be able to manage them the most effectively. Now, this is all well and good, right? It's an awesome hardware-based interface. You got a great screen. It's really flexible and easy to work with. But what happens if you're a regular user? What happens if you're not benching on the weekends, or you're not running your system on a benchtop and tweaking and tuning? What happens if you're like me? I overclock my system. I'm a hardcore enthusiast, but at the end of the day, I have my system inside of my chassis. Well, we've gone ahead and thought about you guys as well. So what we can go ahead and do is pop this guy like this, and we can go ahead and rotate this like that. And there'll be another included accessory, which will be this guy right here, which is a special housing.
Little 5 1/4 inch bay insert.
And then you can now dock that directly inside your chassis.
All right.
And once you click this one button here in the chassis, it will allow it to operate in a different mode. So it will change from extreme mode into normal mode.
I see.
So in normal mode, you'll be able to have some cool readouts such as temperature information, your CPU frequency. You'll be able to access quick one-button overclock profiles. So if you just want to quickly overclock your system, you'll be able to control your primary CPU fan speed. So if you want to shift from maybe like a more performance-oriented maximum cooling mode to a silent operating mode, you can go ahead and switch those profiles. So you're going to have a great level of flexibility to give you something that speaks to the normal user out there and the enthusiasts out there, but also can entirely be beneficial to the extreme user, or the guys that are tweaking and tuning, on a more benchtop type of configuration. So the OC panel will actually come included inside the box for the Extreme Series motherboard, and then will be offered as an accessory for any one of the ROG motherboards.
All right. So if you want the OC panel, you can simply buy it as a separate item. If you want to connect it, for instance, to the Gene or to the Hero. Already comes in the box with the Extreme, and I really like all the included functionality. It seems like you've taken part of the motherboard off and put it together in this little handheld unit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the goal here was to try to give you an advanced hardware level of flexibility that was easy to use, but also had the flexibility of being accessible to 2 different types of segmentations. Just like the Extreme. Extreme is a world record board in your hands, in terms of this is what our ROG team is using to push past, 7+ gigahertz. you know, in terms of really breaking world record performance. But at the same time, this is going to go into somebody's system that maybe is just going to run too high in GPUs, a Zonar Phoebus, and going to be gaming every day, you know, and then also going at night and, you know, maybe typing up some emails or checking out Newegg TV for the latest reviews, right? So, you know, we really want to try to find that balance of giving you a great experience, a great level of performance, and great functionality with a really awesome aesthetic, because of course the red and the black just looks great. So when you kind of add in all the features that we're talking about, the great thing is you're going to see consistency amongst all the ROG boards, but there's definitely going to be highlighted features that are unique to each one of them that go ahead and amp up the value if you're somebody that wants that. You know, like some people will ask why the Extreme doesn't have Supreme Effects audio, and that generally comes from the fact that at this price point, usually these type of users are most interested in having the best of the best. So, you know, while the Supreme Effects audio design is outstanding, and it's definitely the best in terms of integrated audio design that you can get on the market, you know, this type of user is probably maybe considering going into something like our Zonar Phoebus, a Zonar DSX, you know, Zonar STX type sound card, because they even want a higher level of quality and performance. But for you guys that are interested in that sound radar technology, we will be even working with our Zonar Phoebus team to be able to patch that in so that you have that competitive enhanced game technology available to you, even if you're going to be running an ROG sound card and it's not integrated on the motherboard.
Excellent. Well, have we covered all of the, but wait, there's more?
I think, you know, that covers most of the key items that, you know, we wanted to kind of touch on here. There's, of course, a ton of more specialized functions and features that I think we'll touch on when we take a look at our overclocking demo. So I think, like you were mentioning, make sure to check that out. We're going to do some manual overclocking, give you guys a lay of the land on Z87 and what ROG can bring to the table for Haswell and how to best push your platform, but also take advantage of all the options that we're giving you within the UEFI.
So there is more to come here on Newegg TV, of course, so stay tuned. If it's not up now, it will be up very soon. We're going to be doing an overclocking demo, so if you guys want to know some of the ins and outs of overclocking on the Haswell platform, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned, of course, for the MAXIMUS 6 formula board. Once that is available, we're going to be taking a closer look at that. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this video, though. So I want to say a huge thank you to JJ once again for stopping by today.
Thank you for having me. And
thanks to all of you guys for watching. If you'd like to see more tech videos, they're available on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Be sure to check out the remainder of the Z87 videos that we have done, because we've covered a ton of the products that ASUS is launching alongside Intel's launch of their 4th generation core processors. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. Been talking with JJ from ASUS, and if you guys aren't, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Of course, like the video if you enjoyed it. We'll see you all next time.